Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back again with this week's update and all the physical releases coming to the Switch. We're in the 4th week of November, the 22nd until the 26th, Monday to Friday, retail, low print, imports, and our community spotlight. Remember, when we get to 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch OLED model, so subscribe. Now, the end of the year is coming up, and we are wanting to poll the community about what your favorite Switch games of the year have been. Yes, the best games this year decided by you, not us. So we need to do a poll. First, a nomination round where you nominate the games for selection, and then a week or two later we'll have a proper voting for the winners. Maybe a top 10 or a top 20 depending on how many people vote. Head over to our Discord right now, the link is in the description of this video, and nominate your 3 Switch games of the year. Make sure you find the right channel and please read the rules. It's at the very top of that channel bit. I know it's early, but you know, we've got to get the ball rolling. It takes a while to vote, 2 rounds of voting, then me editing it. So yeah, let's start to get this started, okay? You can also leave a small paragraph of why you chose one of the games at least, and I may quote you in the video because that means I have to write less if you write it for me. Alright, this week is actually a rather quiet week at retail. The Disney Classic Games Collection is getting a re-release, I think in North America this week. Europe may have to wait until next week. Basically, this contains the same Aladdin and Lion King games as before, but now with the Jungle Book and also the Capcom version of Aladdin, which wasn't in the original. I believe if you own the original, you can still buy the DLC separately, but please don't quote me on that. Now, all we need is a 3rd release to include the NES versions. As bad as they were, it needs to be a properly complete collection. Maybe next year. Okinawa Rush, I think, technically released last week. This is a side-scrolling action platformer where you have a lot of attacks and moves at your disposal. Supposedly almost like controlling a 1v1 fight. So yeah, the last time they did that in Mortal Kombat Mythologies, it was an absolute disaster. But I've been told that here it works pretty well. There's some really nice pixel art and decent amount of content with different characters to master and even 2-player co-op. There is a standard edition at retail, but there's also a collector's edition in Europe at pixelheart.eu and North America via VGNY. Check those out. Let's Sing 2022 is releasing this week, I think. How many of these are there on the Switch these days? More songs to sing. You can even buy bundles that come with microphones, and let me tell you, those will be hard to get in the future for collectors, I promise. And that's about it for retail. As I said, pretty slow, but let's jump into the low print releases. But before we do, let's have an ad break. But I command you to completely ignore them, especially the adverts about yogurts. Those yogurt adverts, they lie. You see the yogurt with all the big chunky fruit in it? There's no big chunky fruit in it. It's a lie. Ignore it. Did you buy the yogurt? I hope you didn't buy the yogurt. We have a double helping of Red Arc Games releases this week. We have Bard's Gold. Now, this game has been around the block a bit, so it's hard to get massively excited about a game that's already had 2 physical releases on the Vita, a code in a box on the Switch, and has a Metacritic rating in the 50s. But here we are, this is where we are in the Switch's life right now. 2,800 copies of Bard's Gold. This is a slow-paced platformer, very darkly, and there's not much more else that I can say about it. It's available to pre-order right now. Their second game is Blazing Beaks, which is a highly rated twin-stick shooter with a birdie twist. Enter the gungeon with ducks, which means it's probably better. That's how I usually rank games. Does it have a duck? Yes. Okay, it's better. I mean, this is almost always available digitally for like $2, so I can see some people not willing to part with, 15 times that for it physically, but it is a good game if you need another roguelike twin-stick shooter in your life. Both of these are available to pre-order right now, and you can get 10% off with SwitchWatch 10 at redartgames.com. It's not an affiliate, we don't earn anything, just something for you guys. Mundaun is Super Rare's latest Switch release. This is a sepia-drenched game that is supposedly hand-drawn, but it's obviously 3D models. I don't know what's going on. To be honest, it looks like a janky walking sim, but people have promised me that actually it's pretty decent. A little creepy, slow-paced puzzle-like. I'll take their word on it since I won't be buying it. There are 4,000 copies available on Thursday, and I don't know how fast this will sell out. And our executive producer Vilas has chosen this as his pick of the week. Super Life of Pixel is a physical that no one really asked for, but here it is from Strictly Limited Games, or should I say here it will be in 12 months time. This is a platformer that goes the multi-generation route. We've seen this kind of thing before with like the Evoland games where you go from Atari 2600 graphics, then 8-bit, 16-bit and so on. It's supposedly fairly decent, but I can't imagine anyone was really asking for this physically, let alone with a collector's edition, because they really need to sell those £2 piece of paper for an extra $20. So yeah, this can be pre-ordered right now. And our executive producer Boombox probably did ask for it, as it is his pick of the week. Now this one makes me a little bit sad, because one of my favorite games of all time is getting a physical release on the Switch, exclusive to limited run games. Yes, Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic is one of the best licensed tie-ins of all time, and one of the best RPGs, full stop, of all time, and it's up for pre-order right now. Now, I know what you're all thinking, this will probably get a retail release later down the line, but Limited Run's mouthpiece has been firing off to assure everyone that this is 100% exclusive to them and will never, ever come to retail. Otherwise, they would have never done this release in the first place. It's a sad state of affairs when one of the biggest, most milked franchises in history has to go through limited run and nowhere else. They keep saying it's not going to retail, and if it was, they would have never done a limited run release of it. Good to know that they're happy for their partners to do releases afterwards, but obviously they wouldn't if they were going to do what? Wait, what? They don't make sense sometimes, they really don't. Although, as someone on Twitter pointed out, they said the exact same thing about the last Star Wars releases. I don't know, I guess I'll wait, and if it doesn't go to retail, I'll just buy it secondhand. I won't give Limited Run my money. There is a standard edition and 2 wallet milking collector's editions, with one truly taking the pricing piss. And can I have just one more dig? One more dig, please, because it is one of the most infuriating things about many companies out there, many of them, not just Limited Run. 1 week after the digital release, you announced the physical version. 1 week after everyone who jumped the gun to buy digitally first. They did this with Star Wars Racer, and it is just so incredibly inconsiderate to consumers. 1 week after the digital release, you announce the physical release. That is just truly, like, how much contempt do you have for your consumers? In my opinion, you should either announce it before the digital release, even before digital pre-orders, or keep it to yourself for 6 months and then do it. Don't make people who bought it digitally feel like shit for wasting money. And I do not care. I don't care if you say it's nothing to do with you. Maybe you're not allowed to, or you're contractually obliged to, whatever. Have a fucking backbone. Stand up for your customers. Respect them. Anyone need a break? I need a break. Ignore the yogurt adverts. And our executive producers Punky Dooster and JCross7776, they've chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, the imports. Remember guys, if anything takes your fancy and you'd like to import it for yourself, then consider using the links below in the description and the pinned comment. If you use those links, then it also massively helps support this series ever so much. You guys are wonderful, and I always thank you from the bottom of my heart. And in return, of course, if you use our links, you can also get a very nice 5% off any physical item from PlayAsia if you use the coupon code SwitchWatchTV. While checking out, that's all one word, SwitchWatchTV, for 5% off any physical item. And remember, it's still free shipping from PlayAsia if you spend more than $49. So get on that, don't miss it. This is the best time to order and pre-order stuff. Now, Eastward is the biggest import this week, which is not something I'd ever thought I would need to say. Yes, this indie hit is hitting store shelves in Japan, physically with English, and God knows what I am 8-bit are playing at, because why are they not announcing it for the Western release? What are they doing? They just want to tease you. Let people buy it. I guess they just want people to wait around and see. I just like teasing people. So if you're tired of waiting, then be sure to pick up this Japanese physical with its lovely box art, and it even comes with a collector's edition, which is just as fantastic. It's a great Zelda-like action RPG adventure with a strong narrative. I'm sure you've all heard of it before. It's one of the biggest indie hits of this year, and unless iam8bits get their act together, this is going to be one of the biggest imports of all time. I guarantee that. And our executive producers Parsnip Coffee, Santa Tartaruga, Michael Del Polito, Issa, Robotech, Elisa, Thorn Metal Luna, Brent McLean, and Cartoon Soren have chosen this as their pick of the week. Kuukiyomi 123 Plus is a weird sweet collection of games. They are translated as the Consider It series, the first of which came very early in the Switch's life and charmed a lot of people. You are judged on just how considerate of a person you are. So yeah, be nice to people, get a good grade. It's kind of like a very weird social credit system. Very dystopian. Anyways, there's 4 games on this cartridge. The 3 main games in the series have English, but the spin-off mobile game does not, which is not that big of a bummer since it's only listed as the plus part of this title. DEEER Simulator is exactly what you'd expect. It's Goat Sim, but with DEEER. Yeah, no one said all games were entirely original, but actually this seems to be a bit more crazy with its cutscenes and stuff. This Japanese physical does have English, and there's no Western physical as far as I'm aware. If you want something properly silly in your life, then it may be one to take a look at. I'm sure young kids or stoned adults will giggle themselves into a fit with something like this. And our executive producer Government Fat Cat has chosen this as his pick of the week. Dead by Daylight 5th Anniversary is the 3rd Dead by Daylight physical release in Japan. The West got the first one, but Japan also got a Silent Hill version with a Silent Hill chapter on the cartridge. This 5th Anniversary includes Resident Evil content, but as far as I'm aware, it's only included as a download code, which will expire in 12 months time. So probably not the best one to get. I'd say stick with the Silent Hill one for all your Dead by Daylight needs. Japan is also getting a couple late titles such as Gear Shifters and Treasures of the Aegean. I'm not sure if English is on these or not. I can't find information on that. They are also getting titles that I definitely know don't have English. Power Pro Kun, Pocket R, Fuyu Kiss, Parfait Remake, and Asatsugutori. Yeah, I finally said that one. They don't have English. Never mind. Also, we have an update on a newly announced import. Asia is getting a physical release of Livestream, Escape from Hotel Izanami. This is a horror adventure game as a group of girls need to escape from a killer in a rundown hotel. This is going to be in English and even includes some lewd elements from what I've heard. It's reminding me a little bit of Sense or The Coma and even Detention. A bit of a slow-paced, creepy game, and I'm very interested in picking this up when it releases physically in the middle of December. Pre-order links are below if you want to make the most of that free shipping. Alright, the community spotlight, but before we jump in, please remember to watch a few videos from last week. We had the mega visual novel list, we had Japanese Gems 3, which took a look at Esperadi, which is a essential shooter, and we also had a review of another shooter, an import exclusive Illmatic Envelope Swamp, of which no one watched, which, I don't blame you, but I think you should check it out. I hope I made the video entertaining at least. Alright, firstly me. Well, I got a package from Red Art Games, and I'd like to take a minute to apologize for some wrong information that I made in the video dedicated to my top 10 Red Art Games releases. I said that Hardcore Mecha was fully up to date, and this information was what Red Art told me at the time of pre-orders went up, and I also asked some people who had this version if it was true, and they said yes, but apparently they have made a mistake because it is not fully up to date. A patch can be downloaded and it's a pretty hefty one too, so sorry for misleading some people in that regard. I know at least one person was quite unhappy with me, but yeah, personally I still think this is a fantastic game that does suffer from technical issues, especially later on in the game. But I did play it and I reviewed it all the way to the end, and I enjoyed pretty much every minute of it aside from the crashes, which hopefully have been somewhat mitigated by the patch. I believe this is sold out at Red Art Games, but it may be available at some online retailers, or there is an Asian version hanging around too. It's a fantastic game, but it does have technical issues. I mean, you're a mech blowing stuff up. You can't go wrong with that. Alright, on to you. Alejandro Camez got in the Big Daddy edition of Shin Megami Tensei 5. How are you all enjoying this game? I know some people already nominated it as their Game of the Year in our Discord. Is it that good? Aston, thanks for using our links and codes to pick up some of these games. Nice to see some RPG imports as always, like many of you. Eternal Radiance has landed and looking fantastic. I wish mine would make its way out of Chinese customs. I want it. Brett McHorney, thanks for using our links and codes to purchase the fantastic looking Trigger Witch. Many people doubted my review, but I hope when you all play it you can agree with me on it. I really liked it a lot. Chris Dallas sent in this photo of a very problematic title. I mean, one could make a whole video about the issues with the Doom Classics collection, such as if you put this in your Switch, you could no longer play your digital copy, which I think has been fixed since then, but a bigger issue, of course, is the online DRM, where you must be connected to an online account, otherwise it keeps bothering you to log in. Not much of an issue right now, but good luck playing this in 20 years. It's Doom, you don't need DRM on Doom. And by the way, that is after limited run. Specifically, the big dogs in charge promised it would not have any DRM in the physical release. Who knows what happened? Chris Manolis sent in this eye-catching photo. There are a handful of games here, but we all know, male, female, whatever gender you are, you ain't looking at those games. Dame Fortuna got in these games, another Eternal Radiance plus a double pack of RPGs. I really want to pick this up sometime. The Savior of Sapphire Wings, a bit of a hidden gem release, I would say. Dimix picked up this bunch of games, including Paper Mario, which I definitely need to pick up. I always enjoy the colourful graphics, even if the gameplay can be a little divisive between titles. Our executive producer God of Resin picked up these games. Thanks for using our PlayAsia links and codes on some of them, especially the magnificent Super Robot Wars 30. If you haven't seen my review already, then you should. Hudo, many thanks for using our links and codes on these fine games. Heads up guys, I don't know if I mentioned this, but PlayAsia have got some Chinese variations of their exclusive game Dimension Drive up for sale for a very, very reasonable price. It is hard to find the English version, but this is now easily available, don't miss it. Irina sent in this wonderful collage of visual novel games on the Switch in honor of last week's mega video on the subject. You really have all the essentials. I think just maybe Little Busters is probably the last one you need to have all the top tier releases. Our executive producer JCross7776 sent in this photo of something we've seen a fair bit, and I expect to see a ton more next week. The new Pokemon games. Are you all enjoying them? Did they meet your expectations? Let me know. John Santos sent in 2 cool games, including the recently sent out Smashing the Battle, a very busty brawler with actual decent gameplay, something I can definitely get behind. Joshua Brown, thanks for using our links and codes on a couple of these, including Seabed. Wouldn't be surprised to hear if this was currently in single figures in terms of stock. Don't miss out. Kieza Serlin sent in the Republic Commando Collector's Edition from Limited Run. Looks decent enough. Is there a soundtrack? There's got to be a soundtrack, right? Somewhere. Lilith Leon sent in this photo of some nice, interesting releases, a quad helping of Super Rare, and I do want to get Bug Fables at some point. I'm hoping for an Asian release in the future. Our executive producer Punky Dooster did what he does best, showing us inside a card case for some nice titles. Nice to see the Neo Geo Pocket Collection out and about in North America at last. I need to pick up the Asian version. Riz showed off a very colourful selection of games, including the collector's edition of Mary Skelter Finale, which looks nice. I hope to pick up the standard edition someday. Sheng Long sent in this photo of some older titles, but nice to see indeed. Raven is an interesting point-and-click game, kind of like Hercule Poirot. Very well done, and I enjoyed reviewing it for 3 years ago now, so long ago. Sosha sent in this photo of some recent stuff, gone for the Jedi Knight double pack and the very recent Nerf Legends. I do wonder if that's any good or not. Steven665, thanks for using our links and codes on Smashing the Battle. Also rather jealous to see Double Dragon Neon. I do kind of want that in my collection, but I held off because, I shouldn't buy everything that I want. Strit Posting sent in this photo, which includes the lovely Japanese versions of Melty Blood and Fatal Frame. They also got the Star Wars double pack of Racer and Republic Commando from last week. Our executive producer Thorn Metal Luna sent in this photo of their recent pickups. The North American exclusive Tokyo School Life sadly did not make our mega visual novel list. It's not bad or anything, but we thought it wasn't as quality as some of the others on the list. Vey sent in this picture, which includes Ilmatic Envelope Swamp. Please check out my review of that. It is a super interesting game that is worth it for shooter fans. Visipon sent in this photo, which has the day 1 edition of Cupid Parasite. I guess this is more like a collector's edition, since I thought there was just a standard retail release too. I don't know. And finally, our executive producer Issa sent in this photo of some recent editions, including Call of Cthulhu, which is a game I actually want to try. I don't know how well it runs on the Switch, but it seems to be a nicely ambitious game without being a AAA title. That's the kind of stuff that I love. Alright, let's have a roundup now. I realized some of you liked it, that I did it slower last time, but hey, this video can't last forever, so maybe slow down the video to 50% using YouTube settings. Chew it. TN464. Robin Hatherall. Adam Karaskilo. Art Phoenix Asordis. Tiroth. Cartoon Soren. Peter Clark. EZYZ. Michael the Vita Guy. Ashura G. Ganakus. Golbat Lover. Transient Image. Swizz. JP. Grinning Wolf Games. Alright, please send me your pictures on Twitter at SoWhatAboutGame. You can DM me or tag me in a post and use the hashtag Let's Get Physical, and I'll give you a retweet if I see it. I get a lot of notifications these days. Plus, Discord, you can submit your pictures there in the submission section. Please just send me 1 picture per week. It really helps. Alright, hope you enjoyed this episode of New Physical. Special thanks to our executive producers, Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumor, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, J Cross 7776, Elissa, Punky Dooster, Michael Del Polito, Cartoon Soren, Jack Severus, Vilos, Robotech, Z, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Parsnip Coffee, Government Fat Cat, and Issa. Thank you ever so much for your support. Plus you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, give me, I don't know, any emoji you want. Give me any at all. That's fine, and I'll give you any emoji back. Please check out some of our other stuff. Illmatic Envelope Review, Metroidvania list, visual novel list, and some other stuff. We'll see you guys over there. Have a good one.